Greetings, digital sphere. Let us embark on an exploration into the evolution of warfare. It all commenced in the Stone Age, where our ancestral kin engaged in combat with raw power. Flint-tipped spears and stone axes served as instruments of survival, colliding in misty valleys beneath primal skies. These brutal, intimate confrontations were deeply personal, each strike a trial of strength. In ancient Mesopotamia, where organized warfare, bronze-tipped spears and sickle swords met in dusty plains, backed by donkey-drawn chariots. Cities like Uruk rose, and war became a game of strategy, not just muscle. In Egypt, warfare got flashy. The khopesh, a curved bronze blade, slashed through enemies along the Nile, with chariots charging under the shadow of pyramids. Tactics grew sharper, blending speed and precision in warfare. Greece brought discipline. At Marathon, hoplites' dory spears and shields formed unbreakable phalanxes, outsmarting Persian bows. War was now an art of formation.
Rome perfected the war machine. Legionaries, gladius swords, and scutum shields conquered with relentless precision. Siege tactics and aqueducts showed engineering wasn't just for peace. It built empires through blood.
The Middle Ages turned war into a spectacle. Knights in plate armor clashed with long swords and maces on muddy fields. Castles and cathedrals stood as silent witnesses to chivalry's brutal dance. But soon, warfare would shift forever. Enter the golden age of piracy, where the seas became battlegrounds. Cutlasses and flintlock pistols sparked chaotic duels on creaking ships, but cannons ruled. A shift in war tactics, where paywall introduced those with best items, not skills, would rule. Proving distance was the new king of combat. Ah, yes indeed. Faster ships, faster loading cannons, better hull plating. That period, you see, was when government, as a collective, began to outweigh the individual. Its collective power, of course, would have much better things than the pirates. Until then, country's power was troop count based. But now, the weapons of war begin to change things. The Industrial Revolution weaponized progress. At Gettysburg, rifled muskets and Napoleon cannons tore through lines, while railroads fed the slaughter. War became a factory of destruction, churning out death on an unprecedented scale. World War I was a meat grinder. Machine guns and tanks, like the Vickers and Mark I, turned trenches into graves. War was no longer personal, it was mechanized annihilation. World War II ramped up the carnage from the sun. At Stalingrad, Panzer tanks and Katyusha rockets turned cities to rubble. Aircraft and artillery dominated, making war a relentless industrial slaughter. But this, wouldn't quite prepare the world for what would come to evolve some 60 years later, after the dawn of the computer age. The 2003 Iraq War pushed tech to new heights. M1 Abrams tanks and Apache helicopters, armed with Hellfire missiles, dominated deserts. Precision drones and HIMARS rockets struck from afar, turning warfare into a high-tech chess game where machines outshone soldiers, reshaping conflict's future. Look, by 2022, the Ukraine war really showed tech script, right? T-90 tanks and those Bayraktar drones, with HIMAR striking from miles away, made soldiers like just cogs in a digital war machine, highlighting the lower-cost drone approach, showing a massive buildup could terrorize a country remotely with drones, all without having to risk soldiers or desolate land with nuclear options. AI has surpassed human capabilities, and humanity is labeled the problem. Could they draw inspiration from history to craft colossal mech bots akin to early pirate ships dominating the land? As we grapple with their might, would we adapt and fight back, or surrender? Imagine drones, mass-produced and flying in coordinated formations, melding Roman phalanxes with modern drone swarms to sweep the world in search of survivors. What revolutionary shield technologies might they develop to protect their core mainframes from retaliation? And after such a war, would humanity find a place in this transformed world, or become a relic of the past?